It's Wednesday, it's prompt day, number 127. Let's just, I just broke the thing that was marking the page. Okay, here we go. We have 2 staircase and tomahawk? Is that a helicopter? I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to Google that. Sounds like an army thing. Okay, it's like a hatchet. It's like an axe. Why did I think that was a helicopter? Oh, it's like a missile. Okay, well, we're not doing that. We're going to do the axe. Anyways, here we go. So the prompt staircase I thought was very interesting because it feels both restricting and also very open. As in, I could go very literal and make a room, but the room would be very dedicated to this staircase. Or I could do something a little more abstract, which I will get into later. So right away when I thought staircase and obviously an axe sort of thing, I thought an axe murderer going up a staircase after they had cut through a door and tried to kill someone in the Harry Potter staircase closet? I don't know what that's called. Stair closet. So after drawing my fixed sort of isometric staircase as I do, I tried to draw a staircase with the actual perspective that you see the top of the stairs or each step of the stair when you're standing, but then you see the underside of the other steps as they go up. It's a very hard thing to draw, especially if you don't use a ruler, which of course I didn't do. Then I went a little more abstract. I put a staircase in the handle of the axe just to do a sort of abstract sort of thing. I wasn't really sure. Then I had someone carving out a staircase with the axe. And then of course a very simple staircase scene with lots of picture frames and ghosts. I thought it would be really fun to do a spooky haunted mansion scene, but I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go with this one, but I was kind of feeling abstract at this point. After I did some sketching, I thought a little bit about the idea and what I wanted to do, and I was almost going to go in a direction of a visual illusion, not visual illusion, optical illusion? You know those staircase images where the staircases are winding up and down and left and right and they're crossing each other and you don't know which way is up and there's just staircases going all over a room? I thought about doing something like that, but then I just thought it would be kind of a ripoff of the originals of that illustration. But I did want to do something different with the staircase. I was kind of sold on the idea of doing something that wasn't just an illustration with a staircase in it. I wanted to play around with ideas and just kind of doing something different. Also, I guess recently I had done an Art Snacks box where I cut out paper and made 3D illustrations with it, so I think I was starting to get back into the 3D mood after that one. It kind of reawoken the urge to do it because it had been so long, and then I rediscovered just how fun it is to make things 3D and just play with that small amount of depth you can get with cutting paper, so that's something that I wanted to play around with this illustration. And how many times have I already said play around with? I don't even want to know. But if you dare, comment down below. So after I had thrown out the optical illusion idea, I thought about playing around with, dang it, a very simple idea. Now the end result of this illustration is pretty dang simple, but when I thought of this idea at first, I was thinking, what if it was just this big white piece of paper with someone, and this was before I thought about making it 3D. I was going to just draw a staircase like someone was coming up into the piece of paper and it was just this huge blank white space and they would have a blank look on their face like, where am I? But then I started to think about 3D and I was like, well, what if the person is actually physically coming out of a cut out section of the paper where there's a staircase in 3D under it? So I take a piece of paper, cut it, put a piece of paper under it where I drew the staircase, and then put someone coming out of that cut out space. Wow, this sounds confusing. It just is a very simple way to give an illusion that it's a lot more 3D than it is. Just a simple one piece of paper underneath to show that someone's coming up from a staircase. I talked about the idea for a very long time. Let's talk about what I'm drawing. So the more I thought about this, and of course the fact that there was an axe involved with this illustration, I still couldn't get a horror film or like a murderer situation out of my mind. So of course that's what I ended up going with. So we have someone coming up to the staircase and looking around to see a murder scene, and just, it's like a horror film when someone is just going about their life and then suddenly they're in a horror film. You know, happens to me on a daily basis. So keeping that in mind, I had one of two thoughts. I could either have the murderer holding an axe, like a big bushy beard man coming up the stairs holding an axe looking for his next victim, but I thought it would be more interesting to have someone coming up and witnessing this aftermath of a bloodshed scene. And when I think horror films, if it wasn't obvious from the fact that the murderer had to be a big bearded bushy man, I always think that the protagonist is probably female. And then of course horror films are always throwing in some sort of sexy scene at some point. Maybe that's for the older horror films. I don't watch a lot of horror these days because it's hard to find a good one, but I know in the earlier horror films, there was always a scene where a girl was naked and then she got murdered or something. Every single time. Anyway, this girl is not going to get murdered, but she's definitely naked. I thought this would be perfect since she's coming up the staircase. She's going to be censored. Her boob is facing the other way. Her butt is going to be blocked by the piece of paper that I layer on top. You can see her butt now, but it's going to be blocked in the final image. So I thought it would be really fun. Maybe she's home alone and she hears a weird sound in her attic. And you know, when you're home alone, you don't super care if you're clothed or not, so maybe she just got out of the shower, heard a sound, and she's heading up into the attic, and her attic turned into a portal to a big white space. And there's blood everywhere, and there's an axe. Coloring her in was really fun because I knew she was going to be surrounded by a bunch of white, so I just wanted to focus on coloring her really cute. I had fun with the blushing, just putting in as much detail as I do with my simple cartoony-ish style. I really enjoyed her. I think she's really cute and she looks terrified. Drawing the staircase was also really simple. It's just white and I just added some extra shading in there just to make sure that it did look like the staircase was going down and getting darker because, you know, there's only so many shadows I can get from layering one piece of paper. It's not going to cast enough shadows to actually suggest that the staircase is a staircase shape. So I shaded the staircase, colored in our girl, colored in our axe, which was nice and bloody. And then it was time to cut everything out and start assembling our illustration, which was surprisingly fun, effective, and simple. And I always enjoy a nice 3D cutout illustration. My original plan for the axe was actually, bad pun, I'm sorry. I didn't plan on having the axe sticking out of the piece of paper. I was just going to stick it onto the piece of paper and having it lay down on the ground, but I realized that it was going to be a little more flat than I would like, and I thought it would be really cute if I cut a little slit in the paper and then had the axe sticking out, all 3D-like, and it was perfect. The blood is also kind of random. I kind of felt like I should have only had a few blood splatters here and there. I think I went a little overboard. I also have some paw prints in there and a smeared hand. After I drew the blood dripping down the staircase, I realized that maybe she didn't hear a sound, but she saw some blood dripping from her attic, so why not come see what it is? Innocent enough, right? But either way, I think this is a very simple and very effective and fun 3D art, and I really like it. And there you go. I will see you guys at the end card for your prompts from last week. Last week's prompts were taxi and something small next to something big. Our first featured artist is By Me, who drew this really cute scene of a kid and maybe their mom or bigger sister at a coffee shop. It was just so cute and so simple, so effective. It's just such a lovely little scene. I wish I were there buying me a nice iced coffee on a summer day. I love the vibe. And speaking of vibes, this piece by Any Art Netty has quite an interesting vibe. Look at that crazy taxi. Look at that crazy smoke. Look at this perspective. Also, look at that ant. Everything about this piece is crazy, it's wild, and there's just so much to look at, and I love it. So thank you guys so much for entering, and I can't wait to see what you do for this prompt. Bye!